Hi, Renee, you're here, darling. I am doing well, thank you. Hope you are too. I feel better than I did last week. I think I must have had a bug or something. Good. I'm glad you're here. And I've got your question all lined up. Just straighten that up a bit. That's it. Hello, Sandra. Nice to see you. Welcome to questions and answers. All you ever wanted to know about mediumship. So, Renee, now seeing as you're here, darling, I'll answer your question first. The bug is going around here in Florida, is it? Oh, do you know what? Everybody you talk to has had it, you know? So, never mind. Never mind. We get there in the end, don't we? Oh, I mustn't keep moving the camera. Right. Sorry about that. I seem to forget. So, now that was an interesting question, Renee, because you asked if I saw spirit all the time. Day, night, and you can see them everywhere, and just like looking into into a different world. But the thing is, no, I don't. No, I don't, because you've got to stay. You have to have your feet on the ground, when you're a medium, because if I was open all the time, I wouldn't be able to concentrate on this world, would I? On my life that I'm in today. And you have to sort of be in charge a little bit, if that makes sense. So you have to be able to learn when you visit and speak to your loved ones or people that want to pass on messages, or your guides, or whoever wants to come forward. And then you need to be able to turn it off when you've finished using your ability. So otherwise it depends what sort of spirits want to communicate with you. But it just depends what those people were like when they were on the earth. You get all different personalities on the earth. And, if somebody's a bit pushy on the earth and, and always on and to answer questions or do something, then they're the same when they go over into the spirit world, you see. Although we do start to learn when we're ready, we can still progress spiritually in the spirit world. We've still got that same personality, okay? And I can remember one point where I had a person. She was an acquaintance. I did know her slightly, not a huge friend, but I did know her. And her son came through and spoke to me and said, "Would you tell my mum I'm here? I'm okay," And of course, I passed that message on because they did come to me. But as soon as I'd passed it on to her, it was like he was there every 5 minutes, wanting to talk and so in the end, I had to say, enough's enough. I can remember painting the ceiling. I was doing a bit of decorating and I was painting the ceiling, and he came through then. I thought, oh, for goodness sake, every 5 minutes I can't do this. So I said, no, I said, listen, I said, that's it. I've passed on your messages For now, I've passed on quite a few messages I need to cut off. Sorry. And therefore he moved away, and I came back to my normal self and started to finish off the ceiling, what I was doing at the time. So yeah, that's a very good question, Renee. And I mean, I've had lots of experiences, because you did ask what my most profound experience, since I've been doing mediumship. I think, well, I've had a few and they have come at, out of the blue. If it's really important, I find that they do show up out of the blue then, but not very often, because I am closed down until I want to work. But if I'm particularly worried about something, and this is for instance, my husband's, sorry, I keep moving the camera because I'm doing it on the laptop, you see, and not on the phone this time. So I have to be careful I don't kick it over. I'm as bad as Billy. And if you don't know who Billy is, that's my little cat, my little kitten. So yeah, well, we got a call from my husband's mum, not from my husband's mum, from my husband's family, sisters, and said that his mum was in hospital and she's not going to last very long, and that we needed to travel down to Kent to see her. And we'd lived about 3 hours away. And I remember panicking, and we were traveling down there. There was a huge tailback of traffic. In fact, we came to a standstill. And because I was so worried, I wanted to get there, to say goodbye to her. And I was worried and I was panicking, and I'm thinking, oh, for goodness sake, why doesn't this traffic move? What's the matter with it? Why doesn't this traffic move? And then all of a sudden, I said to myself, it's okay, you've got till 6 o'clock to get there. And I thought, phew, I felt at peace and rest. And I thought, wait a minute. What was that? Who said that? I thought I was talking to myself. Like sometimes you think you talk to yourself in your head, out loud, some people, but I mean, me for one, in your head, and you actually think that is you talking. Well, this was my guide telling me this. This was somebody from the spirit world who knew more than I did. So we traveled down there. We finally got there, and we got there at 5 o'clock. And so she was still hanging on. And we went in to see her, and she was still, she was near enough gone. She was near enough over to the other side. And then we came out to talk to his sisters and the rest of the family there. And his sister, who had been there all day, said, well, now you're here, I'm going home. And the time was getting on by then. It was about 10 to 6 by the time she said that. And I said, well, why don't you just wait till 6 o'clock? And I felt I couldn't tell her that I knew, that she wasn't going to pass over till actually 6 o'clock. So I didn't tell her, actually. I just kept saying to her, wait until 6, just wait till 6. But she argued, she said, no, I've been here all day. It won't take me long. I'm going home, and I'm going to cook my husband's tea, and I'm coming back. And I'll be back by 7. And I thought, God, I know it's going to be too late. I just knew, I'd had this in my head telling me it was 6 o'clock. Well, she decided to go, and she went down into the car park to and the nurse came out at the same time, near enough 6 o'clock, and well, it was about a minute, I think, to 6. And she said, "Quick, come on, come on." She said, "She's going now." And 6 o'clock. How did I know? Well, because you see, our guides and our helpers do speak to us. And if we're not listening, I made a video the other day. I think I made a video about about listening, to because they're always trying to talk to us. Spirit are always trying to talk to us. But sometimes if we dismiss it and say, "Oh, it's my imagination. Oh, I didn't. No, 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 it can't be. It can't be." But that's just one thing, that's been, in my experience, So, any more questions? So that's your question, darling. Renee, your 2 questions answered. Sandra, lovely to see you do that nice smiley face there. Thank you. So I hope that answered your question, Renee. And if we've got any more questions, then fire away and I'll answer what I can, okay? Because this one is a questions and answer. I do come on and do live mediumship. I just thought for a change, I'd answer a few questions tonight. So, okay, you're welcome, darling, you're welcome. And while you're on here, I will tell you that I've opened up a new channel. And this is a channel specifically for the Enid Collett stories. If you've been following, you will have heard that about Enid Collett, who left £3 million to Shoreham Lifeboat Society, and they named a huge state-of-the-art lifeboat after us. So if you want to have a look out for that, I'll put the link on for that as well. But are there any more questions here tonight? We've got a few people on, some that haven't come up and it's nice just to say hello. Don't have to ask a question, but if you've got a question, it's always nice to ask. Okay. Yeah, so my little Autumn fast asleep here, Billy out there as well. So yeah. So any more questions? Yes, and I mean, as I say, I've had some quite profound experiences, especially when my son passed over, the first one that I actually lost, and he was a grown-up man, and he came and stood in my front room. My mum was sitting on the sofa. Hello, darling. Cupboard. Hello, cupboard. Hi. Yeah, I can remember my mum was sitting on the sofa, and it was shortly after he'd passed away, because my mum came to stay with me for a little while, to support me and to give me some, well, some support and love, it's all you want, isn't it? But I can remember shortly after how he was there quite a lot, and I could hear. I could hear him physically talking, and it wasn't like the dropping in stuff. It was physical. It was he was talking to me, and I could hear it, and it had like I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like I'm talking to you, but it was more like a robotic sound, it was sort of tinny. But so that was an experience as well. And but this particular time when he was standing in the front room, and my mum was sitting on the sofa, and I was pottering about, and I came in, and my mum was just sitting there like that, and I said, "Mum, are you all right, Mum?" And she didn't answer, but a tear came down. I said, "What's the matter, Mum?" She said, "I can see your Paul. He's just standing there. He don't know where he is." So I said, "What?" And so I said, "Tell me what you're seeing." And she said, "He's just standing there looking around. He don't know where he is." She said, "Oh," she said, "now your father's come out." She said, and behind it was like a rock, a big boulder, and there were some trees there as well. And he went, oh dear, I always do it, don't I? Arms flying about. But it was like my dad was calling him. He was saying, come on, come on, come on, Paul, it's all right, come on. And all of a sudden, she said, my Paul's face went, oh, okay. And he went off with my dad. So, because he did have quite a shocking experience when he passed away. So that was why most people just pass over and they have their loved ones waiting for them. But because it was a traumatic experience, he didn't know where he was. But of course, there's always someone, and it's usually a loved one, someone you recognise, But I suppose he wanted to stay around me, and we were very, very close. So, yeah. So I've had quite a number of experiences. That's just a couple of them. Now, so has anybody else got? I thought I would have been inundated with loads and loads of questions, and I thought, I should be there answering questions, Nobody wants to know anything. Is that because you're all mediums? You already know? What sort of experiences have you had? Tell me. Come and talk to me, darlings. Come and talk to me. Otherwise, I should think I'm on here all on my own, talking to myself. But, so, yes, I've knocked over I always seem to knock over water. I have my husband's voice on a Ring camera where he answered a question. Wow. That is very interesting. Please tell me more. I'm not. So you've got a ring with a camera on it, yeah? And your husband spoke, yeah. I can understand that. I'll send it to you. Please do. I do remember actually doing a reading for someone, and she had a tape, little tape, when they used to have like little tapes, and she had it there. She said, "Do you mind if I tape this?" I said, "Of course not, no." So she taped it while I was doing a reading for her. And when she got home, she played it through. Hi, Wendy. she played it through, and it's funny you should say that, but her husband's voice was on it. When we got home, her husband's voice was on it. So it was all so very, they're very profound experiences. And I particularly remember that lady because her name was Tracy, and I became friends with her afterwards. But unfortunately, she is also now in the spirit world. She died quite young. But I remember when she first came to me for a reading, and she came with her friend. And before she came, I sat down and I meditated, and I asked my helpers and spirit guides. I said, be with me while I'm doing these readings. And I got a lot of information come through, which I wrote down about. One of them was pregnant. Now, I didn't know which lady it was because two of them came together. And I said, and when I saw them and said, right, who wants to come first? Mary came first. And I knew Mary, a little of Mary, but it was the first time I'd ever met Tracy. And I said, all right, come on, Mary, I'll do you first. And I said, well, I read her out the thing about being pregnant, and she'd already got 6 children. She said, oh, gosh, I hope not just yet, she said. And I said, well, okay. I said, perhaps it's not for you. It might be for your friend who you've brought. So when Tracy came in, it was all for her. Yes, she was pregnant, and I had more come through when I read it. I had more come through, and I read it out to her, and it was about she'd had 3 miscarriages prior to this. And I said, well, you're not to worry because this child will be all right. It's but it will have to go in an incubator as soon as it's born, but it's going to be all right. It's a little boy and it's going to be all right. That little boy is about 30 years old now. So there we are. And I was friends with her for years after that. Right. When I was 10, I felt someone sitting beside me in my bedroom and put their arm around me. It happened when police came to. How lovely. Well, Sandra, you see, they do try and keep in touch. That was obviously to comfort you. Well, how lovely is that? And Sandra, are you a medium? Are you a medium, Sandra? Do you work with it? My mum came back and stood in my garden. She said, it's beautiful here. Oh, how lovely. Don't worry. And we'd be together before I even knew it. Yeah, how lovely. I feel her around me all the time. Objects often get moved. Yes, they do. They hide them away, don't they? Well, Cupboard, that's lovely. I'm sorry I'm calling you Cupboard. You've probably got another name. But it's lovely to hear. And Sandra, you don't work with mediumship. Have you ever thought about developing? I mean, it's not for everybody. You don't have to, but it is if you just listen, your guides are there. They're telling you. So you can ask questions. Yeah, you see. Yeah, I would too, darling. I would. If you feel like it. I mean, like I say, it's not for everybody to do, and not everybody wants to. I feel it's my mission. So I'm compelled to do it. I can't help doing it because I do feel that's what I'm here for. So, but it's nice to have confirmation that our loved ones are still around us. And they never really, they spend their life in their world, if you like, into it. I mean, it's all one. Two worlds are one. Yeah. So we're all combined, really. And I mean, every night when we go to sleep, we go home anyway. So if you've met your loved ones in a dream, it's not really a dream. You are meeting them. So it's really nice because we go home to the spirit world, home to where we were, where we are before we're born. This is how it works. So, hi, Katrina. First time here. Hello, darling. Do you get messages on here? If so, do you get anything for me? I tell you what, Katrina, yes, I do mediumship, but not tonight. This is a specific questions and answers, but I do mediumship, open mediumship on here quite often. Yeah. So I mean, do you get? You could subscribe if you want to subscribe. You can subscribe, and then you'll know and hit that bell when you want notified when I go live. So that would be a good thing. And then you get the chance to ask your questions. And yes, I've answered questions for a couple of people on here tonight. So yeah, I do. That their loved ones do come through and talk. Yes, and I also do tarot cards for psychic as well. So thank you, darling. You're so kind. Okay, Katrina, lovely, because then you'll get my notifications. If you press the notifications button, you'll know when I'm coming on live again. And I enjoy doing these lives because it's nice to we're like one big happy family, really. So we communicate with each other, and it's nice. It's nice to have that, yeah, community. So. Oh, you're such a lovely lady. Thank you. That's so kind of you to say so. I was just telling in the beginning about I've got another channel opening up. Not a channel. I am a channel, yes, and I do trance and that sort of thing as well. Trance mediumship. Now that's a lovely thing as well. But I've got another channel opening up, and that's for my stories, and that's about a lady that I worked for that left £3 million, and they bought to the Lifeboat Society, and they bought a lifeboat, named it after her, and nobody knew anything about her, only me, because she used to tell me every day. So I did write a book. And I'm actually telling her stories. And so I've moved that over to the Enid Collett channel. So have we got any more questions? What would you like to know about? So Sandra, you're thinking about developing your gift. Well, if you're thinking about developing your gift, it's always good to go with maybe you could, if it's, yeah, of course it is. If you go to spiritualist churches, if there's any churches near you, that's a good way to get out and talk to people. But did somebody say they'd gone to a moot? Yeah, Cupboard. Aka Sam from Moot. Wahoo, Cupboard Sam. So I have no idea how I'm called Cupboard. It just shows spirit will work with anyone. Darling, they'll definitely work with you, sweetheart. Definitely, my lovely. And I have had the experience of them working with you. So that is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for joining me tonight, Sam. That's so kind of you. That's really lovely, because otherwise I think I'm sitting on here talking to myself. Well, if you haven't got any more questions for me, I'm going to tell you how my trance works. Now, I said a new subscriber. May I have a? Oh, darling, I've just as this is a question, ascended butterfly. Oh, bless your heart, and you're from your mother Mary. Listen, darling, when you come on next time, subscribe, sweetheart. Yeah, new subscriber. Yeah, that's lovely. And hit the notifications button, because I do come on here and do live readings and live, but this one in particular is a questions and answers one. Okay, my darling. So your mother Mary will come along. I'm certain of it, sweetheart. But this one is a questions and answer. But I will be doing probably on Friday. Probably, but look out for the notifications, okay, darling? And then yeah, I know, darling. Well, guess what? My mum's married too. My mum's married too. So yes, we'll do it on Friday, okay, darling? So yeah, so if any of you, like Sandra, you should really, yeah, go to a spiritualist church, and you'll meet people there that are into this, and how sometimes they hold circles where you can develop your mediumship there in the church circle, you know, or meet, you never know, because if spirit wants you to work, darling, they'll put you in touch with people, okay, as long as they're sort of, they know what they're doing. Recommended. And I did speak a little bit about shutting down and you know, drawing your energies in. So if you open up to speak to spirit world, and you must remember to shut down as well, okay, because you'll be walking about tired out most of the time, okay? Try and get your feet on the ground and get some of those lovely, lovely energies too. So thank you, Katrina. Thank you, darling. Yeah. Okay, sweetheart. Well, yeah, so trance work is there are different levels of trance. Okay, different levels. Some people call it channeling, some people call it trance, but there is a difference. There is a difference, because with trance you go into a deeper state of consciousness, and then this is where the actual spirit will speak through you. So instead of me saying, like I usually do when I do mental mediumship, well, trance is mental mediumship as well, but when I usually do just mental mediumship, I'll say, oh, I've got a lady here, I've got this, I've got that, and blah, 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 and she's whoever she is, and she looks like this. And but when you are in trance, you come through and you talk as if you're that person. So that is if you do trance mediumship. Some people do trance philosophy. Okay, so if I was to go into trance and do trance mediumship, for instance, in the past, and I can only speak from experience, so you know, they've come through and said, "Hello, I'm Victor," and "Hello, Norma, I'm Victor," and this is actually something that did happen. Vic, is that you? So they come in and they speak directly to you. Okay, so there's the difference between trance mediumship, but it does take years to develop. Usually it takes years to develop. Now, I did spontaneously go into trance, oh, 30 years ago, I suppose it was. And I'd gone to an afternoon workshop with my mother because she was a medium as well. She was learning as well. She'd shied away from it most of her life until I stepped into mediumship and I was able to help her, understand it. So Mary came as well. That's my mum. Okay. And she was there as well. And we were all given a tarot card and we had to just read it out, what it said, and then just say a sentence, anything that would, well, goodness me. So we went all round the room. I will tell you that Jean Skinner, she's quite a famous medium, actually, transfiguration medium, she was at the time. And she was there as well. So whether that made a difference, whether she had that extra energy that helped me, I don't know. But we all gone round, everybody said what they had to say with this card. And then it come to my turn. And I can remember, I'm just going to pretend this is it, okay? I'm just going to pretend this is it. Morning affirmations, say positive affirmations each morning to open the gates. And that's all and then I thought, is that talking spam funny? Oh, is that? And then I realised it was me and I thought, oh, what's happening? And I didn't know what I was saying. And I shut up like a clam. And afterwards, I said to my mum, I did show myself up. I didn't even know I was talking. I said, how long was I talking for? She said, about 10 minutes. I said, what? So that was my first experience of trance mediumship. And of course, I was, at that time, I was unfolding my healing and my mediumship development. So I was unfolding and they were showing me different things, different possibilities, which they do. I've now developed it, but I've always wanted to get back to that state where I know absolutely nothing about it. And actually, that is a very hard thing to do, but they showed me that it was possible, and I've been striving for that ever since, because I do, although I don't know exactly what I'm saying, I do sort of hear myself. It's just like I'm standing in another room, if that makes sense to you. So that is trance, and it's very interesting. So there we are, my little darlings. There we are. Now, sweethearts, I'm going to come on Friday and do live mediumship and psychic, fill out a few cards and psychic and mediumship. So we'll have a look and see who comes through then. But is there any more burning questions that you'd like to ask? Talk to me, darlings. Katrina, Sandra. Yep, ascending butterfly. Ah, lovely. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, stood in your garden. That's you, Sam. My mum came back and stood in my garden. And she said, it's beautiful. Don't worry. Oh, how nice is that? Isn't it nice to know that life on? I do feel sorry for people that, that stand that and don't know about that, because, I've always known. I don't know about anybody else on here, but I don't mean to say that I've seen spirit all my life, because I haven't. I developed that, but I could always sense somebody. But I was a very sensitive little girl, and I used to sense people, but of course they'd say, "Oh, shut up, Tricia, it's your imagination," you know. That frightened my mum to death. Bless her heart. And she could see you see, I come from a Romany background, and quite a few of my family are. They do see things. So mum had that. But she was frightened of it until I was able, and she was also terrified of dying too. So she used to have panic attacks, because sometimes she'd have these panic attacks. She'd say, "I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying." You see, and that frightened the life out of us. She was quite a highly strung lady, bless her heart. But I think me learning more about it, because I went to Arthur Findlay College and learned as much as I could. I was always down there. Couldn't get enough of it. But it did help her, and I think that helped her. She stopped having those panic attacks. So I don't, I think it was because she thought she felt ill, and then she thought she was going to die, and then she didn't worry about it after. And she used to do readings herself then, but she didn't go out and serve the churches or anything like I do. But yeah. So it's nice to develop. If you want to develop, yeah, just look around for. Yeah, thank you, darling. You're still here then, ascending my butterfly, little butterfly. Yes. Oh, yeah. And I love working with spirit. And I tell you what, spirit have got such a sense of humour. So never be, if you see me, when I demonstrate, I do laugh a lot and, carry on. But I'm 100% serious about my spirit work. But they do, you see, because you lift the energies, and spirit can jump on that and feed you with all this information. So if you're, oh, I wish so-and-so would come and speak to me, they're having a job to get through, darlings. Wendy, I've always been very sensitive as well, like your mum. Yeah, I have a bit of fear around it. Well, you know the answer to that then, Wendy, darling, is to learn as much as you can. And then, you see, it's only because we don't know about it, okay, darling? And because of the scary stories we're told, aren't we? I mean, who likes a lovely ghost story, the one that frightened the life? Oh, my gosh, that's what it's like, isn't it? So, yeah, I'd love to remove the fear. Well, I tell you what, darling, remove the fear first of all, and then develop. Remove the fear, because there's nothing to fear. Let me tell you, I was frightened. And when I first started to do healing, I phoned the National Federation of Spiritual Healers up in London in the UK, and I said, I don't know whether I've got the ability, blah, blah, blah. But he assured me that, because I felt so strongly, that I did have, you see. But when I first went to the spiritualist church, because I was told to go there so I could develop it, you see. So when I first went there, and I saw all the healing energy when I watched the healers work, and I thought, oh my God, whatever's all that, And I spoke to the president of the church the next day, and he said, you must be clairvoyant. And I laughed. I said, no, I'm not. No. He said, well, you must be. It only means clear seeing. Would you like to develop that? I said, oh, no. I don't want nothing to do with no spirits. I just want to do the healing. He said, well, what do you think a healing medium is? That You are a medium if you're a healer. He said, look, he said, I will tell you this, like attracts like. If your intentions are good and you want to do good and you're a good, basically. I mean, I'm not, but we won't talk about that. But if you're basically a good person, that's what the spirit you're going to attract to. You're not going to attract anything nasty to you. So I hope that's cleared that up for you, Wendy. And find out, like I say, you could start going to a spiritual church and listen to the mediums talk, and that maybe they'll explain it. I wonder why we grieve when loved ones pass, when we have proof they are still here. I tell you why we grieve. I tell you why we grieve, and I know why I grieve. And I do grieve. I do grieve, yes, I do. But I don't get stuck in the grief because I know that they're all right. Yes, that's absolutely true. It's the physical touch. It's a physical touch. It's a physical talk. It's a physical hug. Darling, that's what it is. We're so used to having physical people around us. It's like, what are you doing? My little dog's over there. It's like a little dog. You can cuddle a cat and you can cuddle a dog. It gives you comfort. And that's why we grieve. Of course, that's why we grieve, because we wouldn't want them here if they was unhappy or ready to go. We're here for a certain time and then we go home, don't we? So there we are, me little darlings. That's the point. Yes, butterfly. Like attracts like. Yes, it is good to explore your gifts. Yes, my darling, it certainly is. I would say that to anybody. But make sure you go with people that know what they're talking about. Not somebody that's just beginning to learn and themselves and want to do classes or whatever it is. But go with the real experienced people, and word of mouth is good. Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'm so grateful you all came on tonight. It's really kind of you to take the trouble, and I love you all dearly. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for subscribing. Have a look at my Enid Collett one if you're interested in that. If you're interested in lifeboats and well, it's not really about lifeboats. It's about her personal life. I lived with her, you see. So she used to tell me everything. And then when she left £3 million to buy the Enid Collett lifeboat, if you tap in Enid Collett, it's been 15 years since that boat went out. And you'll see it. It's huge. It's saved thousands and thousands of lives. And she's an unsung hero. Nobody knew anything about her. Only me, because she used to tell me, and because I was so interested and I used to write it all down, listen to her. Otherwise, I may have forgot a lot of stuff. So there we are. So thank you all for joining me tonight. Try and join me for Friday, and I'll be doing mediumship and pull out a few tarot cards as well. Okay, my darlings. So bye for now. Thank you for joining me. Bye.